Okay, Chad and Tom, I wanted to share this video with you and anyone else who wants to see it. This is my new brew equipment. Basically, I have two Brew-built 22-gallon kettles, and I'm reusing the 12-gallon kettle I got from you guys. I built a brew stand, and it includes a natural gas burner, high capacity, for my hot liquor tank, and then to be used in my boil. And so I can simultaneously, if I need to, apply heat to my mash. And I've got a mash tun, also 22 gallons, which has a false bottom. Very nice. Also provided by NorCal Brewing. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to do a 15-gallon batch. I'm hoping to get about an 18-gallon yield for fermentation of Belgian Tripel. Okay? So I'll give you some progress, but I did want to show you my new equipment. Okay? And thanks for all of your contributions, and you will be welcome to enjoy the spoils. Bye. Okay, now that everything's set up, I'm brought some spring well water, deep well water from Blue Ridge, and I have to add it to the hot mash tank, and then we'll get the burner going. Okay, I've got about 12 gallons of the spring water in the liquor tank. Now comes the cool part. I mentioned that I got this natural gas heating element, burner, and I did try it the other night, so let's see how this baby fires up. And we'll get this showing around. Sweet. Get that full. Back that off a little with this little, got this little ball valve on here. All right, we'll get some temperature readings. We're going to do a two-stage mash, so I've got to get the temperature up to 145 and introduce it to the grain for the low temp mash at 135. And then what we'll do is we'll use this other burner to, after 10 minutes, to raise it up, and we're going to do the primary mash at 149. And he said 60 to 80 minutes for this recipe, and I got a lot of grain. I got about, I got almost 40 pounds of grain. So we're going to do about 10.5 gallons for the mash, and then we're going to sparge with about another 10.5. That gives about 21 gallons to go into the boil with, because I'd like to have about 18 gallons after the boil. We're also going to be adding some cane sugar towards the end of the boil, and that'll invert, so I'll talk about that later. But we're all set up here, and we got the clock started here at about 8:20 a.m. Okay, note to self, it's 8:40. Basically, I have the burner too close to the kettle. I was getting some deformation on the metal underneath. I'm literally just melting it away. So I backed it off. We'll also control the heat a little more. I think we want to rush this, and we'll get this tank back up to temperature. Okay, it was already at 90 degrees after like 2 minutes, so I don't think this is going to take very long. Okay, it's 9:12. That burner, oh my gosh, that heated up 13 gallons of water from basically 70 to 145 in a half hour. So I backed it off, got it at 145. I'm going to put about, it was at 13, so I'm going to put about 9 gallons of this in, add half the mash, get it stirred up, and then add the remaining, and maybe a couple more gallons. It's just about 10.5 gallons. So, okay, that's kind of where we're at. We're getting this ready. You see I have a nice false bottom in here. Probe thermometer. So we're going to do 10 minutes at, should come out to about 135. I got the burner to control it, and then it's going to have about an hour at 145, maybe a little longer. Okay. So it looks like I'm going to have plenty of room in here for my grain. So I'm going to run this for 10.5, almost 11 gallons of sparge water, and actually dropped a little in temperature. So what I'm doing is I'm going to get it to 145 exactly, and then I'll add my grain. It's a little bit low. Also a little bit of temp coming over from the hot liquor tank. Okay? at 9.5 gallons. So 10 gallons, I'll shut this off at grain. Okay, so I added the first half of the grain. And this is where we got to make sure we don't have any dough balls, because that'll drop your efficiency of your mash, of your conversion to sugars. Let's see if I can find any. I added it kind of slowly. There's a little. This spoon's working really nicely. This steel spoon. Okay. By the way, I got the temperature right at 145. It should be dropping now that I'm putting the grain in. Okay, it's 9:30 now, and I'm right about 139. So I'm a little high in what I was shooting for the mash. But we'll just let this go for 10 minutes, and then we'll raise the temp up to 149. Okay, the first stage of the mash has been 10 minutes. It held right around 139, 140. I've got the sparge water in the liquor tank. Put about 12 gallons in, so I have enough to sparge. And I'm going to now light the burner and get this up to 149. Okay, we're going to bring it up to 149, and then we're going to let that mash sit for about an hour. Okay? It's about 9:40 right now. Okay, I just tested the starch conversion and it's 100%. You would be seeing some black in there if it wasn't converted. Okay? Okay, 10:25. The starch conversion's complete, and transferring the wort from the mash tun down into a holding tank. I'll then pump that up into the hot liquor tank once I'm done sparging, and that will use as the boil tank as well. Okay, we got that at 170 degrees, so I shut that off, and we'll see how much we get out of here. I ran a couple of pitchers of the wort back into the top of the grain, just letting it on it slowly so as not to disturb the bed until it was running clear. Now that it's running clear, I'm filling up the holding tank, and that's some high temperature hose. And it looks like it's been holding right around 160, which is a little higher than I wanted, but I think it'll still be fine, because I did have it running low for probably a half hour, 40 minutes, and hopefully we had it long enough that it's going to take care of all the conversions of both the proteins and the carbohydrates, starches into sugar. Okay, we're ready to do the sparge, and I created this little sparge unit here. We'll see how this works. I tested the flow. I think it's good, and what we want to do is we want to just drizzle this water over the grain. Yeah, it looks like it's working pretty nicely. You don't want to do this too quickly. You just want to create a really slow... There we go. And once that settles down through, it's actually washing any of the remaining sugars out of the wort. So let's see what we get here. Okay, I'll probably let this run for a few minutes. It's still at about 160. We're using a sparge at 170, so hopefully we'll have some pretty good results. Yeah, this is working pretty nicely. I just got some fittings at Home Depot and created this. I still have some rest of it on YouTube. So we'll let this run, and when we're done, we'll be ready to start the boil. Okay, now we're going to use the chugger pump to pump the wort we've collected up to the boil tank. Plug this in. Okay, I got the chugger pump going. Apparently what you have to do is you've got to kind of prime it.
Who are you talking to?
I'm making a video, honey, and that's how you get it going. Okay, now I've hooked up the chugger pump to take the remaining sparge and pump it into the brew kettle. Okay, and we'll see what our final volume is and its specific gravity. Okay, it's 12:45. I added the size flavoring hops. I added 5 ounces. Let that go 20 minutes, and then we'll add our second hop and put it in the work chiller and get ready to cool this down. So we got about 30 minutes to go. Okay, we're approaching 10 minutes to go in the boil, so I'm going to be adding the sugar, which we want in there for about 10 minutes so it inverts it, which basically chemically makes it the same as like candy sugar. Same thing if you just heated it and created it, but you can actually do it during the boil by adding the last 10 minutes. We also drop in the work chiller, which is used to drop the temperature down before we move it to the carboys and add or pitch the yeast. I've got that ready to go as well. I'll also be adding the other 2 grams of hops. These are kind of an aroma hops called, I think you say it, Tetnang, but it's kind of like Howard-Schultz. So that's added again towards the end of the boil. That'll give it some finishing flavor and aroma, characteristic of Belgians. Okay, here's the Tetnang I'm going to be adding right now. These are little hot pellets. I added 2 of them. So here we are at 9:30 at night. You can see the yeast is really being active. The final specific gravity was 0.088, which is actually pretty darn high, almost 0.09. So we had very good conversion of sugars, and alcohol content could go as high as about 9.5%. Yeah, here we are the next morning. This thing's bubbling furiously, and it actually blew off the top airlock. So I had to rig this little system up, which will handle the high volume of air coming through. And you can see the foam has pretty much come to the top and come through the airlock.